Hey everybody, welcome back to the Top Water King YouTube channel. So today in this video we're going to be talking about why you should go finesse during the pre-spawn, post-spawn. So it's kind of there's a slash in between those two. I didn't really make it sound like there was, but pre-spawn and post-spawn, why you should go a little bit more finesse, especially on pressured bodies of water. So this video is going to be more aimed towards you guys that are fishing pressured water, clear water, and also a lot of places that are smaller, small ponds and stuff like that. Why you should go a little bit more finesse. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go with moving baits. I have two moving baits and two non-moving baits. They're kind of slow, finesse baits. So first thing we're going to go with is the faster moving bait. So a spinner bait. Now, a spinner bait is probably not normally a finesse bait. Now, one of my favorite spinner baits is the Strike King Mini King spinner bait, but I didn't get one of those out. The reason why is, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know why I didn't get one out. I probably should have. But one of my new up-and-coming favorite spinner baits for finesse fishing, I'll get it out there in a second, is this guy right here. This is the Silver Colorado Gold Indiana, but it's got the chartreuse white with the little white swim bait, little 2-inch Doc Sewer Company swim bait. This is a War Eagle. Now, this is the only War Eagle bait that I have, but it looks really good, and it's already caught quite a few fish. So this right here is my favorite setup when I'm fishing heavily pressured, muddy water. You guys know that when it comes to summertime, right after a big rainstorm comes in, the chartreuse square bill crankbait is the bait that I throw. That being said, when that bite starts to go away, this is the guy that I'll pull out. Not the normal bigger size, not the half ounce, not the big, 3/8 ounce. This is actually a small 1/4 ounce, but it's still big enough where you can throw it on bait casters or spinning rods, and it's perfect. It really is. It's one of the best sizes of spinner bait that I have, in my opinion. It's not small like a Mini King by Strike King, but it's also not big like a burner style spinner bait or a booyah style spinner bait. I don't really know the names of them. Just a bigger spinner bait. It's a medium, and it's a good medium because there's not a whole lot of people that are throwing a medium sized spinner bait. They're usually either throwing small ones for clear water fish or big ones for muddy water fish. This right here is perfect finesse. It's the perfect middle bait, and my favorite trailer for this is either a 2-inch Doc Sewer Company swimmer, or, believe it or not, another color of bait. The white is a really good trailer, but one of my favorite colors is this guy right here. Now, this is a color that I'm actually bringing back. It's the lime truce belly with the blue back. This is a 4-inch swimmer. The 2-inch swimmer is also a great bait for that spinner bait. But in my opinion, that blue really gives the different look, and it actually catches a lot of fish. The first fish I ever caught on this spinner bait was using that same swim bait as a trailer. But really, in my opinion, this is probably the best finesse moving bait there is as far as, fishing pressured water, fishing muddy water, or clear water. This will still work either way. But in my opinion, this one here is probably one of my favorites as far as a bigger but still finesse bait. Now, another one of my favorite baits, this is actually the bait that I have on that spinner bait, is the 2-inch swim bait by Doc Sewer Company. This color here is actually kind of a new color. It's the root beer body with a little bit of the lime truce tail, kind of a redfish mainly is what I'm going to be targeting with this bait, but I'm not going to be fishing for them. It's probably going to be a long time before I ever get to catch one of those, but it's mainly for y'all down in the saltwater. I've been doing a lot of research, and I've noticed that the brown with the chartreuse tail is a pretty popular color, and I like this. It looks really good. But anyway, this is a great bait as well. Now, obviously, this color here is not really targeted for bass or panfish or whatever you're fishing for, but I'm sure it'll work. Whites, green pumpkins, even a black, or even a crystal shad is perfect colors. Those are my 3 favorite colors. The white and red belly, white and red belly, maybe I'll talk here in a second, is also a great color. It's the Daredevil color. It's got the red right here on the belly, and then it's got the white. It's an awesome color as well. It's caught a lot of pre-spawn bass. So right here is another great bait. This is a slow-moving bait. We're going to go ahead and get into the slow-moving baits. I actually have 3 slow-moving baits. I didn't realize that. But a Ned rig. Now, a Ned... Ooh, don't want to hit that rod on the ceiling fan. Now, this is a Ned rig. This is my setup for the Ned rig. It's basically a 1/4 ounce. This is a shaky head, but I use it as a Ned rig. Then I got a 4-inch Doxer Company boomstick. This color here is the brown, the root beer back with the lime truce belly. Awesome looking color for clear water or muddy water. That is my Ned rig setup. The reason why I throw a Ned rig a lot during the cold water times, this is mainly my bait for, there it is. That there is mainly my bait for pre-spawn, but it also works in post-spawn. The reason why I use it more in the pre-spawn over post-spawn is usually around here after the spawn is over and it's post-spawn, there's a lot more grass. So I don't really like throwing a bait like that because it catches a lot of grass. But in the pre-spawn, there's not a whole lot. So I had to pop my neck. My neck's hurting again. Anyway, but a Ned rig is also a really good bait. The next two baits, this one here is one of my favorites. I've caught a lot of fish on this. This is actually kind of a new color, kind of not. You guys remember the just flat black? Well, this one here is called the flat blackout. What I like about this color is when you can hold it up to the light, you don't see nothing. I mean, it looks like just, you know, those sensor bars that they put on videos and stuff. That's what this looks like. I mean, you look at anything and it's just a black line. You can't see through it at all. No glitter or anything. It's just this flat black worm. And it is awesome in muddier water. I really like this also in clear water though. But one of my favorite ways to fish this is a drop shot or the Ultra Finesse shaky head. Basically what you do is, if I can pick it up, these things are small. Little tiny jig head, just like that guy right there. And you just fish it like a Ned rig. You can also fish that like a miniature Ned rig as well. But my favorite way is like a shaky head. You can fish it like that there with the head. Kind of like a jig worm, like people use for walleye. Great bait. It looks a lot like a leech, so anybody that likes using leeches for bass and walleye and smallmouth, you guys will really like this bait. I mean, it is completely, I mean, it's like a void in this worm. I mean, you can't see through it. Like, I'm holding it up to the light right now, and it's just cutting the light off. I can't see anything through it. It's not even like, it's just dark. I really like that color. It looks really, really cool. Next bait, now this is a bait that I don't talk about a whole lot, but it is a bait that I throw a lot, and that is the micro jig. Now, a lot of people confuse a finesse jig and a micro jig, and I'm going to show you guys the differences here. This is a micro jig, and this is a finesse jig. The biggest differences between a finesse jig and a micro jig: a finesse jig is actually not really a finesse jig. In my opinion, a finesse jig is a micro jig. But in anybody that you talk to, this is what a finesse jig looks like. It's a one skirt with this little cut down here by the head, a small weed guard, a small hook, and a normal sized, maybe even a cut down trailer. You know, half ounce, this is a quarter ounce, half ounce, quarter ounce, 3/8 ounce. You know, they have different sizes. And that there is the traditional finesse jig that everybody knows. But this, in my opinion, this is the true, real deal finesse jig because of exactly how small it is. I mean, this thing is tiny. It basically has like 4 strands for the weed guard. It's a stiff weed guard, so you're going to be using a little bit of a stiffer spinning rod. But it has a light hook and it has a full skirt. It's not just one brand of one strands of skirt. This is actually 2 in 1. But this is an 1/8 ounce. This is a 1/8 ounce jig head. This is tiny compared to, you know, traditional jig heads. And, you know, flipping jigs and stuff. This is, I believe, a Missile Baits, a micro jig. I don't really remember. I think it might be a Mollix, actually. This is a Mollix finesse flipping jig, little micro jig. Now, the trailer that I throw with this is completely different than any other trailer I throw on a jig. You guys seen on that one there, I have the Doxer Company Mud Crawler. On my other jig that I have set up on that rod, I have that giant, this guy right here. I have the giant crawler, just kind of looking for big fish. You know, a lot of people like throwing swim baits. I personally love throwing swim baits on jigs. Curltail grubs are also a very popular jig trailer. And just normal, you know, dead baits like a beaver style bait like the Doxer Company Flip Out is also a very popular bait. But this bait, this little jig here, I'll use one of these. Now, this is a crappie bait. This is a bait that I have here at Doxer Company called the 2-inch flat runner. Now, the original flat runner is 4 inches. I also have this little 2-inch guy. It's a great crawfish imitator. I love throwing this on a small jig head for bluegill and crappie while they're on beds because it looks like a small little crawfish sitting there on the bottom like that right there. And you can also split the tail. I usually don't. The reason why is because it is a lot more finesse. And when you're fishing in cold water, you want it to be as slow moving, and if not even moving at all, as possible. And that there's what I got. It's a green pumpkin color, green pumpkin magic. It's literally the same exact thing. And I just have it on this peanut butter jelly colored little micro jig. And it just sits like this right here, and the skirts are all puffed out. And one thing that I've done with this, and I've caught fish, I've actually caught quite a few fish doing this later last year, that makes sense, was I was casting it out with my Abu Garcia spinning rod, just casting it out, letting it sit, and not even moving it, and watching my line. All of a sudden, my line will just pick up real slowly and start swimming off. And that's how I caught like 3 or 4 fish last year. When it's colder water, this is an incredible bait. And I love throwing it, just not even moving it, just basically letting it sit on the bottom like that. If it'll sit up right, there you go, like that right there, and it just sits there. And that trailer's just kind of sitting there, and it moves a little bit with the water, and the skirt material is moving a lot with the water motion. And when a fish comes up to it, and that bait's sitting there like this, and that fish comes up there down to it, and any of that water pressure that fish has against that jig is going to make it move a little bit, and make it move even more than it did a second ago, because now not only did that fish swim up to it, but all the pressure off that fish came onto the jig, and now the jig's moving, and it makes it look like that crawfish is panicking because there's a predator right in front of it, like there's a 3-pound bass sitting there nosing down on it. Now it looks like it's panicking. The skirt is moving around like crazy. The trailer's moving. Everything on this jig is moving, and that's when those fish see those little hidden things, and that's what they call secondary action. It's an action that you don't even have to add to the bait. It's an action that is caused naturally by the water movement. Man, my neck is killing me today. But anyway, that is an incredible bait. I love that thing. That there is my favorite baits. Moving bait wise, this one here is probably my favorite for muddier water. Moving bait wise for clear water, a little 2-inch swim bait is awesome. If you guys can go back, way back on my channel here, into last year, at the beginning of last year, the first fish I caught of the year on any of my Doc Sewer Company baits was on this 2-inch swimmer in green pumpkin in super duper cold, like I'm talking mid 30-degree water, like probably 20 degrees wind chill, throwing it in clear water, just slow rolling it as slow as I can on a 1/4-ounce jig head. That's how I caught the first fish out of all my Doc Sewer Company baits. That was the one that I caught it on. It's a great bait for clear water. Now, when it comes to muddier water, I don't normally fish a whole lot of slow-moving baits, but when I do, I go with something either really dark-colored or really bright-colored. Now, something like that, the blackout finesse worm, or something like this, maybe not this bait, but something, along the same lines as this in this color. That's what I normally will throw. So thank you guys for watching. If you did like this video, thank you for watching. If you made it to this part in the video, let me know down in the comments. Let me know what your favorite baits in cold water is. If I hit the nail right on the head on your favorite baits, let me know down in the comments. So yeah, thanks for watching once again. Go check out the Coast to Coast Outdoors video. I just posted one up there a little bit ago. After this will be on there. So yeah, one of these 2 videos will go up first. I don't really know. But yeah, thanks for watching once again. Bye.